Sponsored by Black Magic Design, the world's highest quality products for the feature film, post, and broadcast industries. blackmagicdesign.com.
Out of My Mind. It is courtesy of Disney, and it is adapted from the New York Times bestseller by the same title by Sharon M. Draper. I have to say, I work in education. I'm a speech pathologist. This people basically how this came to be was the producer, Peter Saraf, he was there doing a Q&A. His daughter, when she was in about fourth grade, read this book in class. They had to. And she went to him and said, I want you to make a movie out of this. And it took about 10 years. So this is like 10 years later because she's in college now, his daughter. And he did make it. So this book, this movie, sorry, is about stars the main character is called Melody Brooks, and she has cerebral palsy. She's nonverbal. She's 12 years old. She's in an electric wheelchair. She really can't do anything. She can't, obviously she can't walk, she can't talk, she can't bathe herself, she can't go to the bathroom by herself. She can't really feed herself. And this is should say who's it's starring. The newcomer Phoebe Ray Taylor plays Melody Brooks, and she does have CP in real life. Amazing actress. Rosemary DeWitt is in it. She's plays the mother. Luke Kirby, he plays the dad. Judith Light is in it. She's a neighbor. Jennifer Aniston is the narrator. She is the voice of Melody because Melody can choose any voice she wants. And this takes place in the early 2000s, and she loves Friends and she loves Jennifer Aniston. It's adorable. Um, and so their life gets a little shooken up because this educator who works at the local university, she has her doctorate. Um, Wants to try mainstreaming Melody into a general education sixth grade classroom because Melody is actually super, super smart. And she had been in their special ed program, basically in a trailer off of the school, which I've heard about. I have not seen that, thankfully, in my district, but I have heard about that. The program's placed, actually in a different building from the school and wanted to challenge her. And what's great about this movie is we get completely immersed in Melody's world because we obviously can hear all her thoughts and feelings. And it's this one again, I was like, this one I was bawling throughout throughout the entire thing. She is a typical 12-year-old and wants and desires all the things a typical 12-year-old girl wants. And it was heartbreaking and gut-wrenching. Um, and this actress to, you know, act with just the emotions on her face and just amazing. She was amazing. And she does, and this is not really giving anything away, she does get an what they call an augmentative communication device. So you can hear a voice through, it's like a little computer, and she types in what she wants to say. And that is part of it. I thought it was going to center a lot on that actually at first, but it's not really. It's really about self-advocacy, and looking at people in a different way that have disabilities, looking, don't underestimate them. Let me think what else. It was very touching, and coming from being a speech pathologist where I help people communicate, it definitely hit home. I don't work with augmentative communication devices. I have not worked with that, just very little when I was in grad school. So I don't have a ton of experience with that at all. But I hope that in comparison to what was happening in this movie at that time, the special ed hopefully has evolved. um, from what I see where I work, not underestimating kids like maybe they did back then just by going by looks. Um, and Yeah, on the outside.
Now, do you know if it was based on a book? Was the book a novel or like a true story?
So that was interesting. The book was a novel, and I actually asked that question at the panel because they mentioned that the author was a teacher in Ohio for many years, revered. And I'm like, wait a minute. There has got to be someone she knows with cerebral palsy. There's no way she could know all this unless she did a ton of research. So the author just recently shared publicly at the Sundance Film Festival that her daughter has cerebral palsy. And the producer who was at the Q&A said, I know I can share this because she did there, and she's been very private about it. And when I did ask, I said, was the character based off of a real person? He said somewhat. So he did, say exactly, but yeah, so I figured. And she did write, there's a sequel, Out of My Heart, I think, and then she's working, and they are writing a script for that, I heard. And she is working on a third book, I believe, too, which again, I'd never I was like, I can't believe I never heard of this. And I work at a school. Um, yeah. And even though, yeah, it's Disney, there's definitely that Disney touch. Um, the fact that obviously they worked for a long time on this, and they worked hard, I think, to get where they're at.
This is the BTRP Media Network.